Hey, ready to do a documentary about Canada? Eh?
It's Canada. Canada, most commonly referred to as America's hat. This country's become somewhat of a ninth wonder of the world. How did it get so isolated from American culture? Why do they always say "a" at the end of each sentence? And who were the people that first inhabited this area? Well, all these questions will be answered as we dive, go, and dig deep into the depths of these questions on this episode of Historical History.
Hello, my name is Gene, and I will be beginning this documentary by explaining the events leading up to Canada's formation. Now, it all started with an Italian man named Cristoforo Colombo. He came over here looking for China, but instead he found the Americas. Queen Isabel gave him the Columbus to drive over here. Why she called it the Columbus, I have no idea. So finally, once he got here, he decided to rename himself Christopher Columbus to make an American name for him. And also the Spaniards called him Cristobal Colon, which ended in a sort of mistranslation among the Americans, where they actually came out with a brand of cologne called Cristobal Cologne. I find this very absurd how this happened. Well, anyway, those are the events leading up to the formation of Canada.
Hello, I'm Rutherford the Third, and I'm going to be explaining the formation of Canada. Now, you heard the origins of, or whatever, from Eugene, or whatever his bloody name was, and so now I'm going to explain how Canada was formed. So we skip over ahead to the year 1855. When John Robert Kennedy and his brother Fitzgerald become presidents of the United States. That's right, they were the first co-presidents of the United States. And so, one very interesting thing about them was that they liked to wear a type of shoes that was unprecedented in its absurdity. And a lot of people didn't like this type of shoes. And then it really angered this one man named Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth, who decided to shoot both John and Fitzgerald. The entire country of the United States of America was shocked at this absurdity. I mean, I can't believe it. This is total rubbish. But anyway, then the followers moved over north of the United States because they could not understand this mutiny that was going on within their own country. They called themselves Canadians, meaning followers of Kennedy. They gained quite a large following, although there was one tiny problem. The Eskimos. They had lived there since just about the beginning of civilizations, and so needless to say, they had a little bit of a feud. But they were able to come up with an agreement. They decided to all call themselves Canadians, but spell Canadians in the Eskimos' writing, which changed from the Kennedy spelling of Kenedians to Canadians. And then, subsequently, they decided to make the name of this country Canada, meaning the land of Canadians.
Now, while the Americans had Christopher Columbus as their sort of founder, the Canadians actually had a man called Leif Erikson. He came over to Canada in 1652 and discovered Canada. He was a leader of the Viking movement of the time, and it was quite interesting because he sort of deviated off from all his fellow Viking friends, who ended up in America, and pretty much became part of Christopher Columbus's crew. But Leif Erikson founded this area. And how Canada got from a Viking to Eskimos, there is no concrete proof yet, although many historians are trying to figure this little tidbit of information out. But because of Leif Erikson being their sort of founding father, the new Canadians decided to make their national flag a leaf because of Leif Erikson. Then in the year 1902, a man named Charles Babbage, who was part of the Jazz Age, also known as the Jazz Age, decided to move over to Canada because he was sick of America, because everyone called him Charles Cabbage. He heard that in Canada there was no such thing as cabbage, so he was really excited that he would never again have to endure the awfulness of the name Charles Cabbage. So he migrated over there, and then he was so excited right when he crossed the border that the first thing he shouted was, "Hey!" Everyone around him stared at him in shock. Who was this man? And why did he randomly shout, "Eh?" So then, the word spread all around Canada. Whenever they saw Charles Babbage, they said, "How's it going, eh?" And at the end of each sentence, they would say, "eh," to him. And eventually it became part of National Canadian Grammar. Of course, this must have been 10 times worse than being called Charles Cabbage. These bits of history just crack me up sometimes.
And that is the history of Canada. Eh?
Times have changed! Our kids are getting worse! They won't obey their parents, they just want to fight and curse! Should we blame the government or blame society?
Or should we blame the images on TV?
No! Blame Canada! Blame Canada! With all their beady little eyes and flapping heads so full of lies! once, had my picture on his shelf, but now when I see him, it tells me to fuck myself. Well, blame Canada! Blame Canada! It seems that everything's gone wrong since Canada came along. Blame Canada! Blame Canada!
They're not even a real country anyway.
My son could have been a doctor or a lawyer, rich and true. Instead, he burned up like a piggy on a barbecue.
Should we blame the matches? Should we blame the fire? Or the doctors who allowed it to expire?
Heck no! Blame